All right, y'all, so let's talk about this. So, there's a comedian, and I do not remember his name. I guess he does comedy. He has his own YouTube or podcast show. And he just recently had Tisha Campbell on there. And so I don't know if this was just for the show or if he really has a crush on her and he was really trying to shoot his shot, or if it was just for the cameras. But on this show, he's talking to her, and he's flirting with her. She's kind of like flirtatiously turning him down. You know how women have that way of smiling and making certain faces like they're trying to turn you on, like they're trying to really make you just ooh inside, like knowing it's not going to go anywhere type of thing. Now, I don't have that shit happen to me, but I've seen it happen to people, which is what I'm about to get into. But look, here's the funny thing, right? And him conversating with her. Now, honestly, when I see this guy, just his facial expressions and sometimes he paused before he answered, just his question, just his way of thinking, I felt like the guy's slow. And then all of a sudden he starts talking about he has ADHD, or he, like, it's something like you can see like something is just off with the guy. So anyway, when he says to her, "What do you want with an old woman like me?" He's like, "You're not old." And he's like, complimenting her. She's saying she feels uncomfortable when guys compliment her. Right? Now, you can say Tisha Campbell was probably damaged goods. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a way of saying she's damaged goods. Because all of the things that she has dealt with and been through, whether she put herself through it, a lot of it, because people always want to play the I'm a perfect innocent person, I never did nothing wrong and whatever. But whatever, bottom line is the conclusion that she's drawn. And I can tell you from experience, when you've been with one person for so long, you've been married, you've been loyal, faithful, given all of who you are, you're not appreciated, or you have times in your life where things is not going right, and a woman can walk well, her booty can be out here, natural, titties out here, natural, pretty, smell good, and it don't even faze you. Yeah, man. Because you know why? You done had this already. Not that woman particular, that person particular, I mean the situation of seeing, wanting, and then realizing it was all wrong. And you don't want to go through that again. And you realize, like, yep, 1 minute they're the most beautiful motherfucker you ever seen, the next minute you can't stand them. So basically, and him trying to, basically worship this woman, he was like really on her big, right? She said something that was so simple but so important, because people seem to overlook these things. When he was talking about, you seem like a loving person, or this, that, or you seem like the kind of person, blah, 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 and he says something to her and complimenting her and wanting to date her, and how, people look at her like a lot of people are attracted to her. You know what she said? She said, no, they want to date Gina. Not Tisha Campbell, but Gina. I felt this funny because I remember saying to myself, and matter of fact, not even saying to myself, I thought it to myself, and I said this in the conversation. I remember saying, with certain people, right, because they play a role. Bill Cosby, right, even Tisha Campbell, it was even her, and the reason why she was one of them is because they did they had like an interview one day. They was on somebody's show. They had the whole cast of Martin. This is right before Martin did that stand-up You So Crazy. So this was back in the day. But just how, when you sit there and like you watch a show, and on a show, people play roles so good that you go, man, I heard so many people say, I could tell, man, you could tell that in real life they all real cool. Like, you could tell that. Then years later you find out, no, it wasn't what you thought. Now, Tisha and Tachina Arnold were always close, according to the both of them. Tommy, his character, like him in real life, him and Martin, they were cool, got along, but like these motherfuckers ain't like friends, hang out, talk, keep in touch, and no, they're business partners, so they're associates, not friends. And Carl Anthony Payne, who played Cole, he done talked and told y'all, like, plain and simple, how, like, nah, there was tension, there was none of those people were actually friends outside of Tichina and Tisha, right? But when she said they want to date Gina, not Tisha, I always, like with certain people, you have that question, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how close is Tisha Campbell to Gina Waters? On a scale like your real life, who you are, how close is that to Gina, right? And you know what I'm saying? I think about shit like that because, again, a lot of times, man, people are not who you think they are. It take you years to get to know a person. You think you know a person, and you really, truly don't. And this idiot is turning from the wrong damn... Wow, man. Wow. So anyways, you know, you don't know. It's things you find out about a person, and I'm talking, you could be with a motherfucker for 2 decades, and then you find out shit years later that you never knew about this person. That things that can be a harm to your relationship, okay? And how you see this person. So just seeing a person's character, man, you know, you think that you see that person. Bill Cosby's not the same Bill Cosby that you see. You ever see Bill Cosby smoking cigars and saying nigga and being real belligerent and arrogant and foul mouthed? No, but they say in real life that's what Bill Cosby did. And that's why a lot of people had like an issue. People that knew him personally, other comedians, like I remember people were saying like, nah, man, the problem they had with Bill Cosby is not the role he played on the Cosby Show. It's how when he do interviews and stuff like him going on Oprah. I got what he was saying. I understood what he was saying is don't project that hood shit, that nigga shit. I get that. But my thing is, if you don't do it on camera, right? You shouldn't do it off camera either. Like, be who you are. Because now what you're trying to say is, I am what I project, when that's not the case. And that's what people had, you know, that's the issue that people had with him. And he thought he could tell people how to talk and how to say things and what to do. But like, bro, you know, it's just like you can play somebody's husband and be in the movie, you're this model citizen, you're this great guy who helps everybody and so in love with your wife, and in real life you could be the most misogynist, most womanizing, most rotten motherfucker in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, that shit had me when and the thing is, when she said it, you would think he would say, like, what do you mean? Like, what's so different about y'all? You know, she clearly said, no, they want to date Gina, not Tisha. So no, you don't know me like you think you do. Now, not that I'm saying that she was saying she's a bad person, but she knows she got things about her that a man ain't gonna put up with. She knows that. She understands that. Check this out. Richard Pryor, I remember him doing a stand-up, and I remember he said, I know it's hard to get along with me, man, you know, because I'm motherfucker might wake up, man, like, hey, fuck you say last night, that shit you were saying last night. Like he said he knows he's hard to get along with. There's a lot of people, one thing about rich people, a rich motherfucker is quicker to admit that than a non-rich person. But a bootlicking follower who look up to people that's trying to live, like trying to copy their idols and all that, they'll repeat what they say, right? And it's something like with people, they think being the bad guy is a good thing, and it's absolutely not. But that's what she's basically telling you. You think that you're going to get Gina Waters. That's a character I play. What happens when you get to know me and realize, like, no, I'm not like Gina Waters. I mean, it's certain things that I might do that Gina Waters would do, but like, no, this is real life. How many times have we seen a motherfucker play a role and he or she's a good person with how they treated people, but find out in real life these motherfuckers was racist, these motherfuckers, and then you realize, like, damn, when you think about it, this motherfucker don't do no roles with black people or nothing. Yeah, right, you understand what I'm saying? Some of the people that you cheered for, that played football, you know, played basketball, boxers, pro wrestlers, whatever, you cheering and come find out they backstage calling people niggas and they're racist as hell. Now you like, oh really? You understand what I mean? But when it comes to dating, man, that's what got me. Because he didn't like have her elaborate on that. And it's not that you trying to make her look bad. No, she said something, but like, okay, explain so we understand where you're coming from. But she ain't have to explain that shit. It's self-explanatory. He's on the slow side. I don't think that he took it like it's self-explanatory. He just didn't want to get into it. For whatever reason, it just went over his head. That's what it looked like. It just went over his head. But bottom line, listen, when y'all date, man, this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of motherfuckers, like, people, like, they say things like, man, we was younger, man, we didn't want nobody to tell us what to do. It ain't about telling people what to do. One thing about me, though, a lot of people come to me like, yo, man, yo, I'm dealing with this and that, like, yo, blah, 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 whatever. I don't have all the answers for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? I only know what you're telling me. So, based on what you tell me, if I, you know, I'll basically, I'm not, like, what I don't do is try to ruin somebody's relationship and try to talk bad about the person you're with. I just listen to what you're saying. But a lot of times, man, people will say some shit that you think a 5-year-old would know. And these are grown adults. It's like they're blinded by what's in front of them. Like, they know the shit is wrong. They know how they feel inside. They have the understanding. If it was somebody else, they'd be able to tell them what to do, but they just can't do that for themselves. And it's like they're in denial. They still want, you know, like literally, right? I know somebody, and I used this as an analogy one time. I personally know somebody who literally was in a relationship, and the woman told him, look, and this is what I told him. He came to me for advice. And based on what he told me, I said, you know, be honest with you, man, I said, the type of situation that you're dealing with, usually what happens in them situations is this. This is a church girl, right? And she's always, hallelujah, amen, right? And talking about what God said in the word, this and that. And okay, so you also said she suck up to her family, right? She tried to pretend to be somebody completely different in front of her family. I said, and with all the other stuff that he was telling me, I said, all right, what it sounds like to me, I said, and I'm just, hey, just prepare yourself because you never know what's going to happen. I said, but it sounds to me like once your daughter go to college, graduate college, whatever, she probably going to come to you with some, you know, look, the relationship is not what it should be. And honestly, you haven't been happy. I haven't been happy. Bottom line, that's when she's going to try to break it off. So she's going to try to present it to be a mutual thing so she don't look like the bad guy. I mean, you know, when you're not having sex, you're not sleeping in the same room and all this kind of, I'm like, bro, you know, just keep your eyes open. Don't be in denial about shit, right? This motherfucker told me that she said to him, this was like, I don't know, maybe a month or two, maybe, you know, a couple of months after he told me that, and he said that she told him, look, I don't love you. I'm not in love with you. I'm not sexually attracted to you. As the father of my daughter, I have certain concerns with you, and mainly that you're able to stand by her and be a father to her. And not that you're a bad father at all, but with me, it's dead. There's nothing inside of me that wants you. And so I'm telling you that we're going to get a divorce. And this man told me that he told her, that's a lie. That's bullshit. I know you still love me. You don't mean what you're saying. You're just saying these things. This is not true. Now, you're in denial. He said all these things, and it got to the point where he started begging, started crying and all this and that. And he said the entire time she was just standing there with her arms folded staring at him. She's not trying to say anything to comfort him or nothing, right? Like, she just wants out. And he said what hurt him more is that she had a situation where somebody cursed her out and threatened her, right? And it was the type of thing where the police got involved and everything. But somehow she found it in herself, right, to forgive that person. He's like, he never cheated on her, did anything to her. It's just, things just changed between them, and she can't give a reason. Just bottom line is she just wants out, right? So it got to the point where he wrote this long letter to her and was telling her, I have to write it because you won't listen to me. And talking about how he love her and he's not leaving that going anywhere. Don't you know this woman got a restraining order on him? So it got to that point. And pretty much he was in denial. And he got to the point where he started coming to work. It was affecting his work. He was, just, not himself. And he was called into the office. They had a concern for him, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, and so he went into all of this, and due to the way he was acting, they gave him a couple of weeks off of work, but they wanted him to like go to counseling. They wanted him to go to counseling because they like, but yeah, he went through all of that. Now, the thing about it is when he met her, right, she was modeling. And pretty much, and she was what do you say, she was modeling, and like he was going to the shows, and like she was like a speaker. They would go to certain places, like she was like a some type of speaker for something, I don't remember what the hell he said, but she's like some type of speaker. So basically, he's like, she just had a aura about herself. Her body was nice and fit. It's like she was like the most beautiful woman he ever saw, and all of these things he was saying about her. But it turns out that, the image that he saw, and when he snapped back into reality after all of the restraining order, the divorce and everything, he said to me that, man, it took him so long to really understand and admit to himself that she's nothing like what he thought she was. All that beautiful smile, the holding of his hand, the gentleness, the always offering things, always so concerned, like everything about her, that she was in character mode. She, in her mind, it's like, take a person that don't feel attractive, right? Or have self-confidence. They lack self-confidence, or certain things that is about themselves, that maybe they feel other women are prettier than them, or maybe other women to get more attention. Just say, like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, no, they was a nerd in school. Now all of a sudden they get in a position where they're making money. They're finding the success that they wanted. Maybe they're superseding the success that they thought they was going to have. They didn't surpass that for themselves or whatever, right? Now they get to the point where, like, damn, they become arrogant. And this is what happened with regardless to what type of upbringing, most of these fucking celebrities are arrogant as fuck, right? So what happens is, they get to that point where, like, yeah, I'm special. I am somebody. I make X amount of money. Look at me. I came from nothing. This is the shit they started doing. I've literally seen people look in the mirror and talk to themselves. I've seen people walk around talking to themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Just like some people, they get like that. And now what happens is they're around people that all have their, whatever type of success they have, or far more. And so when they go out and they sit to these little bougie ass places and all, they want to be able to say, oh, my man is a doctor, or he owns this, or he does. They want to be able to do that. So when they can't, and they look at you, they start looking at you different, and they start feeling like they've outgrown you. So now all of that kindness that you saw, that wasn't who they really are. That was what they was trained to be in front of people. But you, behind, closed doors, you got the behind the scenes look at them. And then what happens is, through time, they get to the point where they start to really act out what they really feel about you. And now it's like, I want to travel the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want this kind of house. I want to buy that. I want to, like, everything is always like what they want, and buy, spend, and trying to oppress people, and just trying to just live some fantasy life. I mean, we could all sit and say, imagine if we never had to go to work again. Imagine if we just had a lifetime supply of food, and we didn't have to pay mortgage and car insurance. Everything we own, if something happened to our car, you just take it, they fix it, no problem. We ain't paying for nothing. That's not real life. So everybody want this some type of fantasy that they want to live, that it's not really them, right? But yeah, when you get to know people, man, you really get to see them for who they are. I'm pretty sure somebody watching this video knows somebody right now. Well, it could be family, it could be an ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and you at some point have said to somebody or acknowledged to yourself, this motherfucker's so fake. Y'all really don't know who this person really is. And this is the reason why, like, look at my channel, for example. Why you think I don't sit up here? You don't think I can sit here and watch what everybody else is doing and follow that same thing so I could have 150,000 subscribers, 300,000 subscribers, and sit there and why do you think my channel has grown slowly And it is where it is. Because I'm not a typical person. I'm not worried about, I can't do that shit. And the problem with people, in all reality, people hate you for being real and down to earth, but they love you for being the fakest motherfucker in the world. And that's who people are. And you can expose the truth about some shit and people will be like, yo, but that nigga funny as hell though. He entertaining. That's all people care about. That's all they give a fuck about. They can care less about what's real. Everything is about silly shit. Like I keep emphasizing to y'all, man, like these motherfucking slave owners said, you got to keep black people in silly mode at all times. Don't educate them. Don't let them learn nothing. An educated black motherfucker is dangerous. Don't let them learn how the plantation is run. Nothing. You either send them up a river or give them a good whipping. They know knowledge is power. When y'all date, and this is why this generation is doomed, I see nothing but business arrangements. And all that fantasy that you have, looking at her pretty little feet, her big titties, her big booty, and all that, them nice juicy lips, and all the shit you imagining, you're going to realize that everything else that comes with that relationship outweigh the sex that you thought you was going to have with her. All that kinky shit, y'all walking around naked all the time, y'all fucking 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Nothing like what you think. And then you realize you was wrong. And you put yourself through all that to chase somebody that's not even worth it. It ain't worth chasing anybody. And I could see this dude would be in a world of hurt if he did date her, or if he got the type of woman that he think. If he seems like a type of motherfucker that feel like he's lucky to have a woman. One of those, I look at you as an equal counterpart, not no motherfucking I'm lucky to have you. There's not a bitch on this fucking planet I'm lucky to have you. No, never. He said some cornball shit, and that's that new way of thinking. He said, I think that a person should always evolve and grow. Like, you shouldn't be doing the same thing. Like, if like what you're doing now, 10 years from now, you should be much higher. I feel like, it's all about growth. Oh, I definitely, me too. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, right? Now, he said that, though, to Raven Simone, because he talked to her. I think that was what he said, that to Raven Simone. But at the end of the day, even in saying that, right? Even Raven Simone, he was saying he can't say what he really wanted to say. And he was saying, like, how the perfect girl is. And she cut him off and said, me. Like, as if, like, yeah, I know you're weak. I'm pretty sure women see this guy and they can see, like, yeah, he's weak. Bottom line is, when you say things like that, you're not judging a person by their character. You're not judging that person by who they are. You're judging by what you think they are, this illusion you have of them, which goes back to her saying, no, they want to date Gina. She's telling you, I'm not Gina Waters, I'm Tisha Campbell. It's a difference. And more than likely, for her to say that out of her own mouth, it's a big difference. So when you're saying that, imagine her saying, look, you still doing a podcast. It's been 10 years. You should be making way more money now, doing way more things. Now, if she said, now you'd call her a gold digger. You're a gold digger to yourself. Not saying there's something wrong with you deciding that you want something, that you want to gain something and gain more. But see, this is a part of the problem with human nature, okay? Most of us can't even fucking live our lives. You know why? We're so busy trying to wait for that perfect moment. This is why relationships don't work. Think about this. How many times have you heard somebody say some shit like, yo, man, I gotta get that paper, man. Once I graduate, I gotta do this right now. You graduate. I gotta get that car, bro. I'm trying to get this money, so I gotta get this job. So everything is one thing to another. But everything you do, you're doing it with stress. Now you get that job. Okay, yo, as soon as I get that car, yo, right? But now all of a sudden that car you wanted, nah, I gotta get a more expensive one. Cause all my friends, you know, they got more expensive cars. Or I met this chick, man, and she driving a motherfucking Bugatti. Yo, I can't be pulling up in no Honda. You know what I'm saying? Yo, everything is always trying to live to somebody else's expectations. Yo, I can't really go forward until I get that financial blessing, until I get that spiritual blessing that I'm looking for, and all this fake shit that y'all put in your head. And so many years of your life go by. Now you're just getting able to buy a house or get a house built, right? Or whatever, but everything you're doing is to appease somebody else. It's not for you. So all the years of your life that went by, and then you look at your age and think about how much you missed out on, because even though you got this house, you got your degree, you started building some money up, now you're in a position, you're never home, you and your wife are never home. You barely ever see your kids. Your kids are playing sports. They're doing things in school. You basically can never make it. And now your wife is complaining that y'all spend no time. But she was the main driving force and pushing you to get more. Well, now when y'all divorced, you just have more for her to take. And now you find yourself 50-something, 60-something, 70-something years old trying to start over. And this is the story of so many people, because pretty much you saw something that you thought you wanted, and you had no idea that this person is nothing like what I think. People, for the most part, are on their best behavior when they first meet you. Nowadays, people are more openly ignorant. And the problem is, y'all just don't see them for who they are, even though they're showing you who they are. So when she made that comment, man, it just made me look at him like, damn, you're not even going to have her elaborate on that. You're just going to go on to the next topic. And yeah, same way he ignored it, that's exactly my point. Y'all ignore all of that. So when you get a woman, like, how many times have you seen a woman and you're going, damn, this bitch is fine. Fuck, damn, she pretty. Damn, look at that body, right? But this motherfucker have been married 4, 5, 6 times. This motherfucker can't keep a man, right? Think about it. Just think about it. People openly, I swear, I seen an interview the other day. I can't remember nobody's name in the interview. It's 3 black people, but check this out. You're sitting here with your current, and you're talking to somebody that used to date this person. How the fuck you gonna sit up and talk to me about what y'all used to do and how it was and this and that and what it like? We one big happy family. So a person I once dated, I'm sitting here now with my current, with that person. That motherfucker is telling my current wife what we used to do and how it was, how fine I am, and I'm this and that. I'm like, yeah, y'all on some other shit. And the thing about it, these ain't no young motherfuckers. They're up, like, you know. But this is what people are doing now. So nothing is off limits. And the crazy part is when people date, right? Or was married at one point. Now, like, my current and my ex are like best friends. Oh, hell no. It's like y'all have no boundaries, man. You know, Latifah was talking the other day, and she said the reason, it's like, you got this nice big house and everything, and like you never had nobody in it. She just said, you know, I just keep my distance from people. She said, I mean, I see people, it's all love, we can meet up and go hang out and have a good time. She said, but I'm just not too big on bringing people to my house. Like, this is my space, my comfort zone, and you got to have limitations. And I'm like, damn, why does it always take somebody from the old school to finally, you know, but it's people from that same generation that has an opposite, you know, way of thinking. And like, if you were the person who always want the spotlight, always want people around, and the only time they're really happy is when y'all surrounded by people. But when it's just you and that person, there's no real conversation, there's no interaction, there's really no sex. Y'all done went from fucking in front of mirrors and talking dirty and all that eye contact and, you know what I'm saying, that intensity, that enthusiasm, to fucking with the lights off. You can't see her, she can't see you. You laying in between her legs, fucking wiggling from left to right, and then you done. And y'all go to sleep, and she laying up there like, and then she, I don't know, I'm not feeling him no more. And y'all don't understand this shit. Y'all keep chasing images First off, there's nobody in this world worth chasing. Nobody. Nobody. If it's not mutual, keep it pushing. Because even if that person is down to earth and is worth keeping, they're not in the place at that time, to settle down. So the problem when you start chasing is you're going to keep going after this person. They're either going to give in, this shit is not going to work, or they're going to reject you and get sick of you, and then y'all going to become enemies. Just let it go, keep moving. It's not worth chasing shit. All that we break up to make up bullshit. Love is not real if y'all don't argue and all that nonsense. Oh, if a person is not willing to argue with you, they don't love you. No, I don't argue with you. I talk to you. I relate to you. I bring awareness to you. Why do I need to argue with you? You will go to work, and this is one of the things about women that gets me. Y'all will go to y'all will sit here and say, I don't want no man telling me what to do. I live my life how I want to, and this and that. But you go to work, yes sir, yes, right away sir, yeah, anything sir. This motherfucker even tell you how to dress. You go take orders from motherfucker you claim you don't care nothing about, but yet your man can't tell you shit. So this had me really like, damn. I wonder how many other people other than myself is paying attention to what she just said. No, they don't want to date me. They want to date Gina. Remember how seductive Gina used to be to Martin? There's times when she would do the most seductive shit. There's times where you could see the little on-screen flirting. You could see it. So when that whole sexual harassment thing happened between the two of them and all that, right? Remember all that? And then people was like pissed off at her. Like, man, it's because of her the show ended. Nah, man, he ain't do nothing right now. Whatever. It's not like we was there to know. But remember all of that? Remember how she would tell about how when she went home and talked to her husband about it and how, he comforted her and all. Now, remember when they started having problems? I don't know if y'all remember this shit, but it was some years later. I remember him talking and it's like, for you to have a sexual harassment, like she wasn't in front of him. He was talking to the interview, like for somebody to have a sexual harassment claim on somebody, and then all of a sudden, now everything is cool, but yet I don't get sympathy for nothing. But a person who sexually harassed you, remember him saying that, right? And I remember saying the same shit to myself, like, Dad, that is fucked up though. This is the father of your children, and whatever y'all went through, man. Let me tell you something. One thing for sure that I know people do is they'll do things that they know make their significant other angry, but they'll see it as being normal, like running to an old boyfriend, standing holding hands and talking and acting all, but like you're supposed to stand there like a little bitch and just allow it, kissing her hand, spinning her around, telling how fine she is. Oh man, you a lucky man. Now in real life you're gonna get your ass whooped doing some shit like that, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's like, then I said, now let's look at Gina Waters. Gina on the show, like Martin said, part of the dynamic of the show, the chemistry was so good because they showed black love and you didn't really see too much of that. And I'm like, I never looked at no fucking show and praised it like, oh my God, I can relate to them. Oh, they are the symbol of black love. I've never did that shit about nothing. I've liked shows for different reasons, and at the end of the day, that's all it is a show. But let's look at something, right? As much as she did do things with Martin and they had their ups and downs, let's look at the fucked up things that she did as Gina Waters. One, and I know it's some shit I'm not gonna remember that some of y'all will. Two, offhand. One, let's think about the episode with Keith Washington. Remember the singer? Oh, Keith, right? And Martin, you women kill me. Y'all hear man singing a song, right? And y'all think he's singing about y'all. Oh no, we went to say we singing church choir. We even went out together. We used to date. We even dated for a while. Remember? And then Martin gets all jealous and all that. Now remember, she went into defense mode about Keith Washington. Oh my God, he's in town. I can't believe he didn't call me. So she was the type of person, as Gina Waters, that kept in touch with her exes. So Martin makes a fool out of himself. And I can give you so many other shows. We're going to dig with this because I'll be here talking all night. So she basically said, remember all that they was singing together and all that, but it turns out that because he thought that Keith Washington wanted her back, but it wasn't Gina that he wanted back. It was somebody else he was talking about. But bottom line is, she went into defense mode. If y'all don't remember, go watch the episode. She was defending like, what happened with me and him is none of your business, and this and this and that and all, right? Like, but it was like one of those things, like real life. That's not what you want from your woman. And why are you still in touch with this motherfucker anyway? I can't believe you didn't call me, right? All right, let's look at when she was, they had this petty argument about who's more jealous between the two of them. Remember that? Some actor from General Hospital and then Martin, they both invited their exes to see who would be more jealous and all that. And she was sitting there praising this guy and all of it, talking about what they did, how much fun they had, how my father always asked about you, right? Now, this is script writing. Understand, but my point, let's look at the character. And it ended up ultimately where Martin was defending Gina against his ex, and she was defending Martin against her ex. But it's like, let's just look at the stupidity. That was of if you look at it in real life, right? Gina basically was the one. What if I invited Derek, right? Now, why did she still have his number? Why was she still in touch with this motherfucker, right? This is this shit that I'm talking about. She was always defending Pam. No matter what would happen. There's times Martin started shit with her, but yeah, there's many times she started shit with Martin, right? But it was always one of these things that she was always trying to like take somebody else's side. But that wasn't just a Martin thing. It was the same thing with the Jeffersons. If you look at it, all these shows you look at, it was always the husband and wife cracking on each other. They don't get along, but somehow they love each other. Like, it was always that. And the man always made a fool out of himself, for the sake of keeping the woman happy or whatever, right? But just say it. Let's just think about those type of things. What else did she do? I know it's several things that she did, man. Even like her telling Martin, I'm gonna have male friends, right? And then she talk about, Martin, it's okay. I'm pretty sure you see men that you attracted to. There's men I've been attracted to. Now, Martin was fucked up on this one too, because that's the one when Kim Fields came on the show. And he was like, I want to knock her boots, man. Remember that shit? All the way from here to Czechoslovakia, man. Remember that shit? But the whole thing is, now, she didn't like the fact of Martin being attracted to her, but it was like, well, since they're on that subject, they're laying in bed at night, and she's telling him that there's men that she's been attracted to, right? And some of them will be foreign, some of them will now, and all this kind of shit, right? You understand what I'm saying? It's certain things that don't even come across your mind. It's certain things that you don't even fucking think about. But let's think about it. That Gina Waters, right? Let's look at Tisha Campbell in real life. She's at a point now where sex don't even matter to her. It's not even about an attraction anymore. So you understand, in real life, let's say if that show was to even progress, well, she's no longer the head turner. She's a much older version of herself now, right? So it would be different writing and all of that, right? But not to say they can't do something where somebody her age was trying to get at her and Martin got jealous. But I've seen the same thing, like on the Jeffersons. Louise was talking about this guy that she always had the biggest crush on, but he never acknowledged her. And she said it like it still made her sad. They wound up going to the prom. Remember, she went out and they were dancing together. He acted like he didn't know her. He said, well, I already see a jealous husband, and I don't see any reason to like escalate the situation, right? And then he told her he always had his eyes on her. So now this makes her feel good to know that the guy she had this big ass crush on always had his eyes on her. See, Hollywood writing has always been something that I said, this is some bullshit, man. I remember my mom, when she was alive, was telling me how, and I like those shows more than the bullshit they put out now, for sure. I do. But all of them are full of shit. And I told my mom, I said, Ma, I remember I started breaking down, because she said those shows are more relatable. And I started breaking down shit, and then she go, I never looked at it there. You're right. I didn't, just things that would be bullshit. Now, put yourself in that same person's shoes, since it's relatable. Would you have done that? Would you, you know what I'm saying? And I started bringing up all these different things. Same thing. Had an episode where George's ex-girlfriend was in town. Turns out that she was a fucking con artist and shit. She was trying to get money out of George and all that. And Louise, like a dumbass, was blinded by, the situation that was going on, and she ended up going from being jealous to inviting the woman into their house and then trying to help and trying to look out for, like, it's weird stuff, man. It's just weird. So my thing is, though, in this situation, now, not trying to be funny, Louise wasn't no damn head turner. You know that shit. Florida Evans wasn't no damn head turner. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Okay, Edith Bunker wasn't no damn head turner. All right? What I'm saying, though, here's a situation where Gina, her character, yes, she was a head turner as a human being, but her character, I can remember, like I said, the on stage flirting. If you see the behind the scenes stuff, all the twerking and little shit that they did, even when they were acting, just the eye contact, the little seduction with the lips and the tongue, and like all of that shit, you could see it. A motherfucker that's watching Tisha Campbell is not looking at her so much for how she stand by Martin's side. Okay, they're looking at her more for the attraction to her, and even like more so the seductive shit. So whenever they would embrace, they would hug, they would kiss, they were always talking about sex. You know what I mean? It's all those little things. That's what they're doing. They're turned on by her, not the way she treated Martin. Okay, but bottom line, who she was on the show wasn't, necessarily a bad person, but she did have some bullshit. So my point is, even as Gina Waters, no, she wasn't no perfect model citizen. She had shit about her that wasn't fucking right. I mean, even like when she got the boot on the car, she was lying to Martin and she running all over town. Couldn't just be honest and say, look, I got a boot on the car. And, it cost X amount of money, because that's when she was bothering him about not spending from the savings account because they were saving for their wedding and all that stuff. Now, it's all TV and just bullshit. But what I'm saying is, when she said they want Gina, she's right. They don't know Tisha Campbell. And my thing, I don't care if you Janet Jackson, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care who you are. You have been married multiple times. You've been with different people. It didn't work. So as fine as you may be to somebody else told you that, man, kick rocks. They wasn't sweating you, And in the beginning, it might have been that way, but later on, they got to know you. They got to see how annoying you can be. Guess what? You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. We should separate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she was bougie as fuck. Tisha Campbell's character was bougie as fuck. So, you know what I'm saying? But she hit the nail on the fucking head. And then he also said something in an interview that got me thinking, like, he said, do you date like other like successful people or normal people? And I'm like, what is a normal person? What do you mean? All their fingers work? They don't have any birth defects? What do you mean a normal person? What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? A normal person. Isn't that fucked up how we describe ourselves? A normal person. So a person that's rich is not a normal person. What are they? What is normal? What do you mean when you say normal? You know what the motherfucker's talking about. They're not rich, not close to being rich. So let's say this rich ass motherfucker ain't worth a shit, but that so-called normal person is everything that you actually want in a human being, with the exception of not having a lot of money. You see, that's why bad decisions are always made. It's not about who you are, it's what you are. So pretty much, it's like she did everything other than say, look, you wouldn't be happy with me, and I wouldn't be happy with you. This wouldn't work. You understand what I'm saying? And I just thought that shit was crazy, man, because I'm sitting there looking like, damn, how do you, like, I don't know what happened to human beings, especially like grown as adults, man. Like, how do you just not see what you need to see, even when it's right in front of your face? But that is what happened on that interview, and it just got my attention. I see a whole lot of things, but this one kind of stood out. I almost did this video last week, but I waited, because I saw the video last week. But it's amazing to me how people refuse to wake up. They refuse to see what they need to see. They find themselves in a bad situation, and next thing you know, they're on somebody's podcast or YouTube channel, or their name is at least, and their story about how they're broke now and how they're getting divorced by this person, and that person took half of all of their shit. And it's like, what was it about this person other than your attraction to them? One thing I'm gonna tell you about a lot of motherfuckers, man, they, even the way they dress, they wear certain shit under their clothes and all that. You get them home and clothes come off and you like, oh shit, what happened? Not what you thought. Not what you thought. All that makeup and bullshit come on, because that's when you tell them that they're beautiful. Is when they got all that shit on and when they're dressed a certain way. You're not telling them that shit when they're ass naked. And I always tell a woman that shit is like, look, I don't even like makeup. That's some shit y'all do because it makes y'all feel better about yourselves or whatever. But there's nothing in the world sexier than butt ass naked. Nothing. Only thing is when you walk and don't walk barefoot, have some flip flops or something on, because I don't like no hard, crusty, dried up ass, fucking dirty ass feet. Because I explore your entire body. I'm that type of guy. At the end of the day, though, in terms of you knowing who this person is or fantasizing about who this person is, I remember this. Now I don't know if it's true. You know, I'm not gonna say this. I don't want to say it. Okay. Okay, fuck it. I didn't make the damn story up. A guy told me he met Vanessa Del Rio. Y'all remember who she is, right? And I remember he said, this was some years ago too. He said, man, this is probably like around, I like to say 90, 91. And we had just finished playing football. And I remember this guy, this motherfucker, I just remember his name is Soto. He did music. He's like doing like music producing or some shit, some independent shit. And I remember this motherfucker, we was talking one day, right? Because I used to do, you know, my little hip hop shit and all. So we were talking because he saw me and I got in the car, drove home. He followed me up. So I'm just like, hey, yo, like, you know, we sitting there talking because I'm like, yo, you know, I don't like having nobody in my house. I'm in the shower. You just sitting out like, nah, you know what I mean? It's like, nah. So we sitting there talking and shit. And he was just telling me, we just, you know, just kicking it at that point. And he was telling me about a show that he had coming up and like, yo, he's, you know, setting it up. So, yo, Saturday, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. And, you know, we come out there because like I ain't doing nothing for nobody for free. And that's another thing. He always getting people that, yo, it's exposure, man, because you gonna have, ain't no fucking producers gonna be there, nothing, fuck out of here. They gonna videotape the shit, they gonna upload it to however they doing it, whatever, and your ass ain't making no money, and they making money off their shows, and they ain't giving you shit, fuck that. So we talking, and I remember him telling me, like, yeah, man, he's like, I met Vanessa Del Rio, and like, yo, this shit was like a dream come true. He's like, yo, man, I was like, damn, if I ever met Vanessa. He's like, yo, I remember, like, yo, me and one of my uncles, he's like, my brother, like, we used to be watching, like, yo, damn. And I used to be like, yo, man, I'm gonna meet her one day. And he's like, I met her. And what he said was, according to him, they did whatever they did, according to him. And that he was like, yo, that she gave him a kiss and told him, I hope we can meet up and do this again. But if not, thank you. And he said that he was just like, yo, man, she was this and that. Like, yo, I had a number and stuff, man, a home number. But like, yo, you know, this and that. All right, so anyway, but bottom line is, I remember saying to him, well, if y'all did that, that's probably all y'all should have did. I mean, like, would you want to take somebody who did porn for a living and all of a sudden this is your wife now? Like, you know what I mean? And think about this. For every time you go somewhere with this chick, somebody got videos of your wife naked, being gangbanged, sucking and fucking other men, women, whatever, and they running up to you, yeah, yo, ain't this her? Ain't they? Oh, this you, right? Right? People that do porn say that shit turns them off, but it's like, well, it's the life you chose, right? Now, if they feel some kind of way, how you think that shit make you feel? But you know what's gonna always happen. You gonna run into somebody that they did fuck scenes with, and you, how you doing, man? I love working with your wife, man. She's a real professional. Well, oh, thank you. Just think about it. This ain't the same as somebody working as a school teacher or something, helping somebody's kids, and you know what they're saying, right? So, like, how do you feel comfortable? Now, all of a sudden, you feeling like a fucking fool because you walking around with these motherfuckers, and now all of a sudden somebody's doing an interview one day. Who was your favorite person to work? Yo, Vanessa Del Rio. Oh, the way she used to fucking suck my gut. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like somehow people, they meet people, they see them, and they think that this person is like, you're imagining what you seen in this motherfucker do on video. But it's like, okay, but that's all y'all should do. You're gonna go y'all separate ways, or just that's all y'all gonna do. The second you think that shit gonna be different because y'all settled down, why would you even want to? So my thing is, no, Tisha's not doing porn, but what I'm saying, she said out of her own mouth, no, they want to date Gina. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm looking at this dude like, damn, she is old enough to be your mama, man. Like, what are you thinking? Right? Now, that's his business. I'm not, judging that. They're grown. He's a grown-ass man. Point what I'm saying, though, is like, for you to say you want a person as opposed to I'm attracted to a person, you don't know nothing about this person yet. And you think you know Tisha Campbell based on the Gina Waters character. So, in real life, stop walking around fantasizing, man, and thinking that this image that you see is what you're going to get at home. In closing, I got to say this, man, for all the men that's ever did videos commenting, other people talking about, yo, I can't look at Erykah Badu in the eyes, yo, her eyes is hypnotizing, yo, and then they talk about how good her vagina smells and all that, just crazy stuff that they said. I remember hearing this, and I'm saying to myself, if these motherfuckers are right now married, if they're right now in other relationships, and that they're current, see those interviews, this is something that's gonna fuck with your relationship, because they never know what's on your mind. And you say, and then when you say, I will always love her, and she this and she, talk about how hypnotizing her eyes are, and how, like, to this day, if I see her, it's just like I just imagine it's just something about her. You don't even tell your woman shit like that. You know how you talk about how Will Smith always cried when you bring up Tupac and how much she loved him? She don't even talk about Will like that, right? Somebody did a thumbnail the other day on the video where they had Will Smith crying on his knees, crawling, and Jada Pinkett standing behind him, not laughing, with a leash on him, like she is, like he's her slave, with a leash and a collar on his neck. And so I'm saying, like, it's that type of thing, man, where, like, it's like a person go out their way to disrespect you every chance they get, and this is the person that you're supposed to be. This is your wife. You know what I mean? So just think, sometime a person can say something, y'all not a couple yet, but when you become a couple, they say things, and all it would take is for him to be like, oh, Erykah calling me, or whatever. And just think, you sitting there talking about, sitting there complimenting how fresh her vagina smell, and how she's just so seductive and sexy, and all this shit that they say. And I'm like, yo, this is the one thing about Hollywood, man. Y'all would say anything. And I heard Erykah Badu say that sex don't even matter to her no more. This is the shit I'm saying. Which means, even in that, imagine some dude listening to comment and all them saying, they like, damn, I heard Erykah this and that. Now, you're interviewing Erykah Badu, and all of a sudden, you got this attraction to her, and you think you really want to get to know her, get to meet her. And then you start dating her and realize, like, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. It's the same thing. Take the celebrity away. Get to know people before you start making babies with them. Before you get on your fucking knee and say, I do. So you don't end up standing next to each other, across from each other in the courtroom, and you fighting for all your money and your belongings, and you basically having to go find a hotel to stay in, or go sleep with your mom or dad's house or somewhere because y'all not getting along, and she done called the police and got a restraining order on you and all this kind of stuff. It makes me think about the Big Tigger situation, because when I seen that situation, that shit, look at all these people that made their mind up about Tigger just to find out that that woman was lying. I saw that video. And she's falling to the floor. Tigger, you threw me down. And I'm like, this chick is actually crazy, because this is all being recorded, and he's not throwing her, shoving her. He has his arms around her. He's trying to get his phone. I don't know what was on his phone. And he kept saying, would you give me my phone? Could you please give me my phone? Right? But before that video footage came out, I seen a whole bunch of disgruntled women calling him all types of bastards and no good scumbag niggas and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, when he found out that she was lying, and all the kidnapping, all the shit that went down, and she ends up being arrested, and the truth comes out that she's the bad person. Well, not one of them said, you know what, my apologies to Tigger, because I made judgment and said things and like as if I knew and I didn't, and that's on me. That's my apologies. Sorry for that. No, they just gonna let that slide, don't say nothing. And the person that was in the room, Mr. Tigger, get off of her, hollering and screaming. And I'm sitting up here like, he's not, you can clearly see he's doing absolutely nothing to this woman. And he's asking her repeatedly, could you give me my phone? Even when she fell to the floor, he stood up and he's like, look, you can see, he didn't throw her down. She just dropping and acting the fool and all of that. I don't know what the attraction was. I don't know what got them together. But for everybody who find themselves in them situations, I guarantee you one of the first things that you remember is how y'all first met and how you wished that moment never happened. Get to know who people are, man. Stop falling for these images. That's all I got for you guys now. Catch you guys on the next video.